I've been watching this man compete for years and years and years, the pride of Brooklyn, and now he has turned into, in my opinion, one of the very best boxing analysts in the world. He was front and center for the World Tour in LA, Toronto, New York. I was looking forward to working with him. Maybe that will happen someday down the line. For now, very excited to talk to the one and only Paulie Malignaggi right now on the show. Paulie, are you there?
I'm here, Ariel. Thanks for having me on the show, man. How's everything going?
Everything's great. I appreciate the time as well. So, you know, I know this is a sort of a big question, but in general, did you enjoy the tour? Did you have fun covering it for those 3 stops?
You know, people have a lot of mixed feelings about the way the tour went. I thought it was unbelievably entertaining. You know, I thought it was something else, really. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought both guys were very witty, which I thought it promoted the fight, which is what it's supposed to do. I mean, people always are going to have opinion about, oh, maybe it got out of hand or maybe a lot of it was staged. I don't think any of it was staged. I thought they were both very witty in the fact that they kind of had to try to one-up each other with the trash talking. And it's one thing to trash talk in a written interview where you can kind of think of what you're going to say. It's another thing to be able to trash talk very good on the spot at a press conference. You have to be really witty because you don't know what the other guy's going to say, have an answer and a response and whatnot. And I thought both guys handled that very well. And I think it really helped in selling this fight.
Do you agree with what I said earlier, which was maybe they were asking a little too much of them to do this for 4 straight days? Here's an open microphone. Here's a crowd of 16,000 or so people in front of you. Here's a crowd of 1 million or so at home, and just go for it. Like maybe after Toronto, it should have adapted or evolved a little bit and changed the format so that they don't feel the pressure to go so low.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Ariel. You know, when you're sparring every single day. When you're sparring every single day, I mean, not when you're sparring, when you're in a press conference every single day, you know, you're going to run out of material eventually, you know? So you're going to have to, the pressure's on you to entertain. You know, these press conferences, they're like events. They're like fights. It's not like a regular press conference. So you got so many people. People want to hear some good stuff. People want to see some good stuff. So you almost have to prepare like a stand-up comedian almost. So you have to have material that you're going to come out and say. And all of a sudden, yesterday's material becomes irrelevant today because people that weren't present yesterday still saw it on a live stream. So now you're going to have to entertain this other new live crowd with some new material and whatnot. I think after 4 days, you know, you're kind of reaching your wit's end as far as your material is concerned.
I thought the biggest revelation of it all was that Mayweather still got it, that he was able to turn back the clock and be that brash Floyd Mayweather who fought Ricky Hatton and Oscar De La Hoya. I thought that Conor would annihilate him in the trash talk, and that did not happen. He actually was completely unfazed. Were you surprised that he was that on point as he was?
I wasn't surprised. You know, when it comes to trash talking, a lot of times, you know, earlier in my career, I was a big trash talker. But as my career started, winding down, you kind of like you're kind of over the trash talking. You're kind of over all that other stuff. And it's not that you don't enjoy being in there. It's just like, you know what, you're just more about business. You're just more about, hey, you know, I'm going to get myself paid and handle this fight. But when you get a young guy like this, a young phenom who steps into the forefront and he takes away all the attention that you're used to getting, and he's taking away all the attention because he's such a good trash talker, he may bring you back to your younger instincts. He may make you feel younger. That's the feeling I got out of Mayweather, where he was almost like enjoying things again. He didn't go through his regular blah, blah, trash talk where it's like, I've been a champion for a long time, I'm worth hundreds of millions of dollars, yada, yada, yada. You know, because of Conor McGregor's astuteness and wittiness and enthusiasm, you know, Mayweather was risking having a guy take all the attention away from him. And one thing Mayweather doesn't like is not having the attention. So he almost had to become the trash talker all over again, just so he could keep up with McGregor. And I thought it made for some good exchanges.
So it was fun to sort of score each tour stop after, you know, the end of the performance. Do you think at the end of the whole thing, 4 stops, that one guy got the better of the other, or did it kind of end up in a wash?
I think they alternated days. I think Mayweather got caught up McGregor off guard in the first one. I think McGregor wasn't used to how boxing press conferences work. So in LA, I thought Mayweather had the advantage. Toronto was McGregor at its finest. I mean, Toronto might be the best press conference I've ever seen in my life.
Yes,
I mean, that was something out of this world extraordinary, you know, between the crowd and the atmosphere, and both guys are just at the tippity top of their best trash talking. So Conor got that one. I thought in New York, Floyd closed it a little stronger. I thought throwing the money in the air on top of his whole entourage, I thought that was a funny touch. I thought that got it from. But then in London, I thought McGregor got him back again, you know. But there was some funny exchanges, some funny not just talking, but also the way they were behaving, the way they were moving around, the way they were in each other's orbit and whatnot. And just everything about it for me entertained me. You know what I mean? These are two characters, and you know, they were at the center of the world's attention, and they kind of handled it well. I thought they handled it in a funny way, in an entertaining way, but also in a trash talking way, which is you're supposed to do in promoting a big fight.
Was there any point where you thought they're going too far?
You know what it is? When you're going to fight somebody, you almost your mindset is in a different place. You know, you're trying to get the edge any which way you can, but you're also starting to really very much dislike the person. So any mental edge you can get, you will get. And it might look, sometimes it looks like you're going too far from the outside looking in for the layman, because, hey, the layman doesn't have his game face on. The layman doesn't understand what it's like to be in the presence of a guy who, in a matter of a month and a half, you're going to be swapping blood with, and it's going to be trying to take your head off, and you're going to be trying to take his head off. You know, there's a subtle tension underneath that you do not like this guy. Like, regardless of what people say, like, oh, you know, these guys, they set up that they wanted to make a great press conferences. They might have, behind the scenes, they're laughing. Maybe behind the scenes, they might shake hands even. They might even touch fist bump and say, okay, we're going to make money. But let me tell you something. Underneath everything, these guys still know they're going to fight. So at day's end, the tension is there. And the heat is there. So do they go a little too far? Maybe for the layman, sometimes they go a little too far. But there's nothing really you can do to go too far when you're trying to bust up your opponent's psyche for battle.
Was there any point, I thought that Conor almost had to treat this from LA on as the beginning of the fight, try to crack his shield and get in his head so that, you know, if even at 1% he's not the same Floyd, that's a victory. Was there any point where you thought, all right, Conor's getting under his skin, he's getting in his head, he's cracking him a little bit?
I thought they both got under each other's skin in certain moments. But one thing about me that I started to think, one thing in my mind that I started to think, Floyd keeps harping on Conor's quitting in the ADS fight, the tapping out, so to speak, whether it's quitting or not, you know. And Floyd keeps harping on that thing that he would never quit. You never quit. You're not a real fighter when you quit. He keeps harping on it. He keeps harping on it. He keeps harping on it. I think psychologically what Floyd's trying to do is, in his mind, he sees himself punishing Conor McGregor in the ring. He sees himself as another level, and he sees himself punishing McGregor in the ring, which means that by harping on the quitting constantly, you're going to eliminate the option for Conor to be able to quit or sit on the stool between rounds and end the fight that way. Conor is going to have to take every second of physical beating that Floyd intends to dish out. In my mind, that's how Floyd was playing it. Now, whether that's going to happen or not, you know, that's up to opinions. That's up to the way the fight plays out. That's up to the way, you know, the technicalities play out in themselves. But in my mind, the mind game Floyd was playing and constantly berating Conor about the tapping out, constantly berating Conor about the tapping out, constantly doing it. You are now eliminating the option for Conor to be able to find a way out of that fight if he finds himself in trouble, you know, which in Floyd's mind, Conor will find himself in trouble. I'm speaking from the point of view of Floyd Mayweather. You're not from the point of view of myself or anybody else. So in my mind now, Floyd is putting Conor in a position where he's saying, I'm going to punish this guy so bad for all this trash talking, and he's going to have to take every second of beating from me. Otherwise, he's going to be embarrassed by the entire crowd because they know I called him out on quitting. So I think there's getting under each other's skin in a lot of ways. I think Floyd was doing that because Conor was under his skin. I think Floyd was a little bit agitated because Conor was under his skin. But then in reverse, in retaliation, Floyd gets under Conor's skin by doing stuff like that. And now Conor feels like he's going to have something to prove on fight night. And that's what Floyd wants. Floyd wants Conor to think he has something to prove on fight night. So the mind games also put into play here. Everything these guys are doing, it may look extreme, may look all out of control or whatnot. But there's mind games. There's subtle mind games being played. You know, Conor gets in your head. You're like Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo rushed out at Conor and got himself knocked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Conor maybe he's thinking, maybe I'm going to get in this guy's head, berate his intelligence, berate his stupidity, berate anything I can, insult his family, anything I can do to where the bell rings and this guy might rush at me out of control and I might be able to catch him with something like I did Jose Aldo. Now, can I picture it? No, I think Mayweather's a bit more of a veteran. He's battle-tested, mind and physical. But in Conor's mind, this is why he's trying to get on the Floyd skin. He's trying to make Floyd come out of character and do something that he maybe normally wouldn't do and fall into a trap. So all of this stuff is the beginning of the fight already. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a bit of theatrics. Yeah, it's a bit of people getting all crazy and thinking, oh, it's a bit extreme. But trust me, this is all mind games that you try to lead into the fight, and both guys are trying to see how much of it starts the beginning of round one. So you can get into the guy's mind. So at the beginning of round one, you have the advantage going into the fight, going into the opening bell.
Did anything that happened last week change your opinion on the outcome of the fight?
You know what I love about McGregor? There's no doubt in his mind. I started, when I first saw the fight signs, I thought to myself, Conor has to know he's going to lose. I mean, subtly, he's got to believe he's going to lose. I mean, we all have doubts in our mind when we have a tough fight. And, then we go to camp and we train every day and we get more and more confident every day and we get more sharp. So nobody actually goes into a fight feeling they're going to lose, even if they're a big underdog. At least that's not the way you're supposed to do, especially at a championship level. We're all winners at a championship level. But I really thought I thought he was doing it a lot for the money. I thought there's no way this guy can really believe he's going to win. But through the press conferences, day in, day out that I was at, I really noticed something in Conor's character. This guy is a winner through and through, which I always believed he was. This guy believes he's going to win this fight. Now, whether it sounds ridiculous to the boxing fans or ridiculous to anybody else, it may sound ridiculous even to me or somebody else. He believes it wholeheartedly in his mind. There's nothing this guy hasn't been able to achieve in his life when that was cast on him. So in his mind, he's just doing the same thing he's been doing his whole life. Proving the doubters wrong, proving the odds wrong. And in his mind, he's going to do it again. And he wholeheartedly believes it. I could tell there was emotion behind that trash talk. There was passion behind that trash talk. There was passion behind what he was saying. You can only be that passionate if you believe in what you're doing, what you're doing.
Are you going to help him prepare for the fight? What's going on with that? Conor, that is.
Yeah, we've talked. I was starting to wonder myself because, we went back and forth as far as we were a little bit confused. I was a little bit confused as maybe they changed their mind or whatnot. But they've contacted me again. I'll be joining them shortly.
Wow. Who contacted you?
Jerry Byrne. Jerry Byrne is one of the assistants on Conor's team. And I have a connection with him because I'm good friends with Dean Byrne, his brother. Dean Byrne is a Irish professional fighter. He was training in Los Angeles for a few years when I was actually living there and training as well. And so we struck up a friendship. And, I've since gone back to the East Coast. Dean has since moved back to the UK, but we've been in touch all the time. And just about a month ago, Dean hit me up and said, hey, you know what? My brother loves Conor McGregor. He wants to know if I can pass your number to him. I wouldn't do it without your permission. But can I give my brother your number? And I was like, sure, no problem. I said, but I'm actually retired. I don't know if they're looking to work or anything, but I don't know what kind of shape I'm in right now. But they called me. They talked to me. I've gotten myself in a little bit of shape since then, and it looks like we're going to make it happen a little bit.
And so, are you going there just to spar him, or will you actually help him train for the fight?
I think Conor has a very capable training team. John Cavanaugh has been a guy who's been around him for a while. And, he's got a team that really understands him both inside the octagon and outside the octagon. They know him as a fighter and as a person. So if you know the guy as a fighter, as a person, I don't think you want to change that because you know the psychology of him as well as the technical analysis of him. So I wouldn't say I'm going there to train. If I'm going to give a couple of, technical tidbits, maybe not, but I definitely wouldn't call myself a trainer. I think his team has that foundation down pat, and they're going to be doing the training, and they're going to be in charge of all that. But of course, I'll be going there to spar, and if I see anything, and one of the terms, of course, I'll share my views on the things.
How long do you plan on going there for?
I'm not sure. I guess it's down to how long they need me for. We've discussed a couple of potential things, But I don't know. It'll depend on them. I've always been in a camp that's been my training camp. I've never been in somebody else's training camp. Even when I was a prospect and I helped champions get ready for their fight, it was mostly at home. Where I came up in Gleason's gym in New York, where there's so many champions training there. A lot of times I sparred with them a lot during their training camp in Gleason's. But I was never a guy that was brought into camp as a sparring partner where I had to leave my house. I had to leave home. This is the first time that ever happened to me. So in my professional experience, when I used to run my own training camps, I make all the decisions. My team, I meet with my team and we make all the decisions as far as how long a sparring partner should stay, when a sparring partner should go, and all this other stuff. So that's going to be, if I'm going by the way I look at things, all those decisions are going to be up to them. How long they want to keep me around for, how long they don't want to keep me around for, and then so on and so forth. I'm just there to try to accommodate as best I can.
And when do you leave? Do you know that yet?
When do I what?
When do you go out there to spar him?
When do I go out there? You want to know?
I do want to know, yes.
I fly out Wednesday to Las Vegas.
Wow. So someone asked Conor about you during the press tour, and he said this, quote, Paulie talked a lot of shit. He was talking, look, he's been brought in to spar, and then he'll answer to what he's been saying, and then we'll go from there after that. But we're going to have a knock in the gym. We're going to have a knock in the gym. He's going to have to answer for what he's been saying. What have you been saying that's gone, Conor? It seemed like it was almost like he was ready to fight you as opposed to like...
You know what it is? When Conor got his boxing license, all the boxers looked at it like, wow, this is a big paycheck here, and if a guy was probably a little bit limited to boxing than your basic world-class boxer, so everybody was trying to get in there. For me, using my trash talking ability that I have, and me knowing that I'm one of the better-known fighters in the business, I tried to put myself in the forefront. I tried to talk a little bit trash and get under his skin and try to see if he would take the bait. So the trash talk was done about 6 months ago. I was looking to get the fight. I've since lost my last fight. I'm retired, so that's actually out the window. But I think that's basically what they're looking at. What he's talking about is where I was trash talking way back then. We're gonna have a knock in the gym. But listen, Ariel, I mean, from a fighter's perspective, you have a knock in the gym anyway. Even if you're best friends with the guy you're sparring, you're gonna have a knock in there. That's just the way sparring goes, especially at a world-class championship level in the gym on sparring. I've never been a part of a training camp where sparring was like. I've never, ever been that. Even when I was the young kid sparring the champions, we used to try to take each other's heads off. And when I was the championship level fighter bringing in young sparring partners, you used to try to take each other's head off. Whether you're cool with them outside the ring or not, you're looking to rip each other apart. That's just the way sparring is. You need to raise your intensity level to a very high level because on fight night, you need to be able to reach down and get that intensity level when it's there. And you need to be familiar with that intensity level. You can't just show up on fight night and reach an intensity level you're not used to getting to, So you get there in sparring a few times a week. And, you little by little, your mind and your body acclimates to that kind of intensity, that level of intensity, so you don't have to really dig deep to reach it. You're automatically on autopilot once you reach that intensity level on fight night, So the having a knock in the gym part, it's good for the media to jump on. It's good for fans to jump on to give them something to talk about. But in reality, Ariel, you can have a knock in the gym regardless. It's just the way it is.
Right. Do you feel like you're going into hostile territory, though? Like they're actually going to come and it's going to be uncomfortable?
Well, I'm not getting jumped in there, so no. I never feel like I'm in hostile territory, because I'm very confident. I'm very confident in my ability inside the ring.
Okay.
I never feel like I'm going in there and I have to. Oh my goodness, I'm sparring so and so. I've sparred so many good fighters, through so many years. That it's almost second nature to me. Especially sparring. I mean, fight night is one thing, especially sparring. It's very intense, but at the same time, it's nothing I haven't done before. Many through thousands and thousands of rounds in my life. I'm confident about what I can do in there, and I'm sure Conor's confident about what he can do in there. And yeah, we'll probably have a knock. We'll have a knock or even 2 or 3. But I'm sure it'll be all good. And if I can help out and do my part in the camp, then I'll be happy.
This may be a weird question before I let you go, considering that you're flying out on Wednesday, but do you have a prediction? How do you see this unfolding?
I think you favor Mayweather, and then you go from there seeing if Conor can have certain moments. What I've been saying from the start. You need to look if Conor can have certain moments in the fight. I don't think you can just outright say Conor wins the fight. Okay, you can't. It's just outright too much of a jump. But here's where you can start to think Conor will win the fight. You look for Conor to have certain moments in the fight, whether he can get Floyd's attention, maybe land a particular punch, a particular shot, or a particular combination. Figure out ways where Floyd is falling for certain things. Because Floyd is so smart, he doesn't fall for very many things. We'll figure out ways where we can set certain traps for Floyd and land a couple of shots here and there. And here's what happens. You have a moment here, you have a moment there. Sometimes, especially when a punch as hard as Conor McGregor, sometimes a moment becomes a bigger moment. Sometimes a bigger moment ends the fight. You know what I'm saying? So you look at it like this. Can Conor have a moment or two here and there? Because overall, the control of the fight, I believe, will be Floyd's. Floyd's fight to control, and I believe Floyd will be in control. But if he can get certain moments in the fight, if he can reach his moment here, a moment there, around here and there. First of all, when the crowd goes crazy, because the crowd is going to be supporting Conor regardless, and get his confidence up, can that certain moment become a bigger moment? You know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather's 40 years old. He hasn't fought in 2 years. You know what I mean? That does count to a degree. You know what I mean? Conor McGregor never fought a boxing match. Yes, that does count as well. So there's pros and cons to both guys. Obviously, Floyd has more pros going into this fight because it is a boxing match. Having said that, though, when a guy hits hard as Conor McGregor, all he needs to do is look just to have certain moments in the fight. A moment here, a moment there. Can he turn one of these moments into a bigger moment that can possibly turn into real danger for Floyd Mayweather? And that's kind of how you want to view the fight if you're looking at Conor McGregor's chances of winning the fight. Because if you just look at it and say, oh, Conor will win the fight, it's not that simple. It's not that black and white. There's a lot of gray area in there. You probably favor Floyd Mayweather in the fight. But there's your intangibles that you spoke about that you think that maybe Conor has a chance.
Would it be disastrous for boxing if Conor wins? Would this be just a complete nightmare? or do you not subscribe to that?
I don't think so. I really don't think so because I think then we get to keep Conor McGregor. we'll steal him from the UFC because
that is true.
Because then he'll realize how much money he can make in boxing, especially with a win over Floyd Mayweather, and he'll say, you know what, I kind of like this paycheck. I might hang around for a little bit, you know.
I love that.
But first things first. Let's see how the fight plays out. I think there's ways and possibilities to where even if he loses the fight, if he performs in a decent manner, he'll come out the more positive of the two. People will come out of the fight talking better about him than about Floyd. I think the only way Floyd comes out of this fight with positive press is if he absolutely annihilates Conor McGregor. He has to absolutely annihilate him, and he has to absolutely give him no chance of any inkling of a moment in the fight. If Floyd absolutely annihilates McGregor, then Floyd comes out with positive press. If Conor even has certain moments in the fight and still loses, people will talk more about McGregor than Mayweather after this fight because this is Mayweather's domain. He's supposed to dominate. Conor is not supposed to do anything. So anything Conor achieves in this fight is positive for him.
What phenomenal insight. Thank you so much. Real honor to have you on the show, Paulie. I've been watching you for years and such an admirer of your work in the ring and now on the microphone. Thank you for the time and the insight, and good luck over there. They're good people. They won't jump you. I'm certain of that. But good luck over there in Vegas with the McGregor team.
I'm going to be leaving Wednesday. But I have to return to New York Monday to work the Broner Garcia fight week for Showtime. And then I will once again leave for Vegas after Broner Garcia. So I'll be Vegas, New York, and back to Vegas.
Wow. Wow, that's a lot of fun. Good luck over there. Thank you again, and hope to talk to you maybe before or after the fight again.
Yes, sir, Ariel. Always my pleasure. Take it easy.
All right, there he is, Paulie Malignaggi. What phenomenal insight. Wow, that was amazing. You see, if you're not a boxing fan, why this guy is so good. I mean, you could just tell. Respect for the game, respect for MMA, respect for Conor. He's not dismissing it. He's not, and yes, I know he works for Showtime, and I know that he is part of the broadcast team, but you could tell there's genuine respect there. And yes, he's going out there, but what a phenomenal, I mean, just the analysis was tremendous.